Forgotten world, hidden by the galaxy, called Earth a forgotten world. A quiet blue planet far from the great trade routes. To alien eyes, it was nothing but a backwater. A place of old wars and simple people. They thought humans were weak, too. Small to matter in the gains of empires. But the galaxy had never seen what Earth could do when pushed to the edge. Deep under the city of Geneva, hidden beneath layers of steel and rock, the Earth Defense Command Center was alive with activity. Large holographic maps showed star systems, fleet movements, and incoming signals. A red warning flashed across the room, a deep space transmission from the outer rim. The signal was clear. A massive alien invasion fleet was on its way to the Sol system. Admiral Keen, a tall man with silver hair and a voice like iron, stood at the center table. "Seal the room," he ordered, and heavy blast doors closed with a thundering sound. His eyes scanned the officers around him, each waiting for his command. "The galaxy thinks we are weak," he said, his voice calm but sharp. "We will show them they are wrong." Earth's leaders had planned for this moment for decades. While the galaxy mocked and ignored them, humanity had been building in secret, hidden shipyards on the dark side of the moon, stealth factories in the asteroid belt, and orbital weapons hidden behind the glare of the sun, the aliens thought. Earth had only a few old warships, but they were wrong. In the asteroid belt, far from Earth's light, miners worked on retrofitting massive cargo haulers. The ships looked slow and harmless, but inside them were railguns that could tear apart a battleship. Old freighters were turned into missile carriers, their holds packed with weapons instead of ore. Even the smallest mining craft was fitted with pulse cannons and armor plating. On Mars, soldiers trained in underground bunkers, their exercises hidden from alien satellites. They wore adaptive armor black plates that shifted color to blend into any background. Every recruit knew the stakes, and every one of them was ready to fight to the last breath. Mars had always been a frontier, and now it was the first wall of defense. The intercepted transmission gave the fleet's arrival time less than 30 days. It was a short window, but humans had worked with less. Civilian ships were recalled to safe zones, and families were moved deep underground. Every human on every colony knew what was coming. Admiral Keen called in his fleet commanders, their faces appearing as holograms around the table. "Operation Black Veil is active," he said. "No one outside this room knows the full strength of our forces, and it will stay that way." One commander nodded. Another smiled coldly. They had been waiting for this. In a small shipyard near Neptune, a massive warship floated in darkness. Its hull was matte black, shaped to absorb radar and light. It had no name painted on the side, only a number, NX-01. It was the first of a new generation of human battle carriers, faster and stronger than anything the galaxy had seen. The aliens believed humans only fought with brute force. They didn't know about the stealth technology stolen from their own spies. They didn't know Earth had cracked their communication codes. They didn't know humanity had mapped every weakness in their fleets. Night fell on Earth, but the command center didn't sleep. Engines roared in the hidden shipyards. Factories glowed with molten metal, the quiet planet that the galaxy had. Ignored was now waking up, and it would not sleep again until the war was over. Far out beyond Pluto, in the darkness between stars, a lone human scout ship watched the alien fleet. Its pilot, Lieutenant Mara Vance, sent a secure pulse back to Earth. "They're bigger than we thought," she whispered to herself. "But they're slow, and they don't know what's waiting for them." Her ship turned and vanished into the black, leaving the alien armada. Unaware they had been seen, in every corner of human space, a silent promise was made. They would not bow, they would not run, and they would not let Earth fall. From the smallest asteroid miner to the highest-ranking admiral, every human was ready. The galaxy thought this was a backwater world, but it was about to learn that even a quiet planet can burn the stars. Asterisk, the first strike the alien fleet did not wait for diplomacy. They came like a storm, their ships black against the glow of Jupiter. Without warning, they broke orbit and dived toward Ganymede, the largest moon in the system. The first plasma volleys tore through human defense satellites like paper. On the frozen surface, miners and settlers looked up to see the sky burning. They had no weapons, only drills and cargo lifters. Panic spread through the colony as alien troop carriers dropped from the clouds. Massive war machines stepped out, their armor gleaming with strange symbols. The colony's distress signal reached Earth in seconds. Inside the command center, alarms screamed and officers shouted coordinates. Admiral Keene's voice cut through the chaos. "Send the Valiant." Everyone in the room went silent. They knew what that meant. The Valiant was an old corvette on paper, but in truth, it was a Predator. In disguise, its engines had been rebuilt for speed, its hull reinforced with experimental alloys, and at its heart, it carried a weapon no alien had ever seen, a tri-core railgun capable of firing at light speed. Captain Rourke, a broad-shouldered veteran with a scar across his jaw, sat in the command chair. "Target the lead destroyer," he ordered, calm. As if he were hunting in his backyard, the crew moved like clockwork, hands gliding over controls. "Locked," came the weapons officer's voice. In the silence that followed, the Valiant fired. The shot was a white streak across the black of space. A heartbeat later, the alien destroyer exploded into molten fragments. The shockwave lit the moon's ice in a brilliant glow. The aliens froze, confused. They had expected a colony with no real defenses. Instead, they had been met with precision fire that shattered their strongest ship in seconds. 2 more destroyers moved to flank the Valiant. "Bring us around," Rourke ordered. The corvette spun like a dancer, its thrusters flaring. 2 more railgun shots screamed into the darkness. Both enemy ships erupted into clouds of debris, their reactors torn apart on Ganymede's surface. Colonists cheered, some wept openly. They had seen death coming for them, and now they saw hope. In the command center, Admiral Keene only nodded. "This is the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy will see us now." The alien troop carriers turned and fled into orbit. They didn't know how many more human ships waited in the shadows. They didn't dare find out. The retreat was chaotic, with damaged ships colliding and smaller craft scattering in all directions. But the victory was not without cost. In the chaos, a hidden alien probe had scanned the Valiant's hull and systems before vanishing into deep space. Within hours, the alien high command would know this was no ordinary backwater defense. They would know Earth was more dangerous than they imagined. Back on Earth, news of the battle spread through underground channels. The people whispered a new truth humans could win. Mothers told their children, "We are not weak." And soldiers on every outpost began sharpening their blades and loading their rifles. The galaxy had taken its first hit. It would not be the last. Earth's shadow war was only beginning, and soon the stars themselves would burn with the fire of human defiance. Asterisk. Allies or enemies? The battle at Ganymede changed the galaxy's whispers. For the first time in centuries, the words human victory traveled across alien channels. Some called it luck, others called it desperation. But a few, the ones who understood war, felt something colder. It was the beginning of a shift in power. 3 days later, the Galactic Council sent their ships to Earth. Not warships, at least not in appearance. They came in silver diplomatic cruisers, their hulls polished to shine under Sol's light. But every cruiser carried hidden weapons and armed escorts disguised as security. The council delegation was led by High Speaker Varel, a tall, four-eyed diplomat from the Sith Dominion. Her smile was thin, and her words were sweet, but her voice carried the weight of command. She came not to praise Earth's defense, but to measure it, to see if this backwater could be useful or dangerous. Admiral Keene met her in Earth's orbital station. The air between them was thick with unspoken challenges. "Your people fought well," Virel said softly. "But it would be wise to join the council for protection." Keen's jaw tightened. "Protection," he repeated. "From who, your enemies or from you?" Virel's smile didn't fade. Instead, she gestured to her aide, who quietly activated a scanning device aimed at the station's systems. It was a silent insult. They were searching for Earth's true military strength without permission. An alarm blinked red on Keen's console. Within seconds, Earth's orbital railguns rotated toward the council ships. Dozens of hidden defense turrets extended from the station's hull, their barrels glowing faintly. Keen didn't raise his voice, but the words carried like steel. "Turn it off." The council aide froze. Outside the station windows, the silver cruisers stopped moving, their escorts shifting nervously. In the silence, the sound of charging capacitors hummed through the floor. Virel studied Keen for a long moment, then signaled her aide to shut the scanner down. "You are bold for a small world," she said. Finally, Keen leaned forward. "We are bold because we have to be." He didn't mention the fleet hidden behind Neptune, or the stealth ships already patrolling alien borders. Let them wonder. Let them guess it was better that way. The meeting ended without a treaty, without promises, without trust. But when the council ships left orbit, they carried a message to every power in the galaxy. Earth was not to be measured like a resource or bullied like a colony. Earth was now a question no one could answer. That night, in the deep archives of the Galactic Council, a sealed report was sent to the highest level. It contained only 6 words. Earth is preparing for something bigger, and somewhere in the cold reaches between stars, a coalition of alien warlords began to plan, not for peace, not for diplomacy, but for the day they would crush the humans before the humans could rise any higher. Asterisk, the shadow war begins the council's visit had been a warning, not the polite kind, but the kind that comes before knives in the dark. Admiral Keen knew it. His commanders knew it. And somewhere deep in the alien core worlds, the warlords knew it too. The open battles had not yet begun, but the real war had already started. It began with a beacon, a small black device no larger than a coin, planted on the underside of Earth's largest carrier, the Titan. It pulsed once every hour, sending its signal far into the void. To anyone who could read it, the message was, "Clear Earth's fleet locations," but the saboteur had not counted on human paranoia. In the bowels of the Titan, Chief Engineer Mara Holt ran a daily sweep for anomalies. Her scanner chirped once, faintly, almost lost in the hum of the engines. She pulled the device free and studied it, her jaw tightening. "This isn't ours," she said over the comm. Admiral Keen's voice came back cold. "Then it belongs to someone who won't see the sunrise." The beacon was traced to a mercenary network, tied to 3 alien factions. All of them had seats in the Galactic Council. From that moment, Earth's war became silent. Special operations teams were sent into alien space disguised as traders. Engineers, even entertainers, on the moon of Kirel 9, a human merchant sold rare minerals to a shipyard. Hours later, that shipyard's reactor mysteriously overloaded, taking half a fleet with it in the shadowed corridors of a space station near the Orion Spur. 2 humans wearing stolen council uniforms walked into a restricted data vault. They walked out with the encrypted command codes for an entire alien armada. The codes were sent back to Earth, where cyber units rewrote them. By the time the fleet tried to move, their own ships locked weapons on each other. But the shadow war was not without risk. On the desert world of Virel's home system, a human spy barely escaped with her life after being hunted by drones. She stumbled into an extraction point with burns across her armor, clutching a single chip. On it were plans for a massive alien strike against the Sol system. When Keen read the data, his hands tightened on the table's edge. They weren't just coming with ships this time. They were coming with everything. Hundreds of warships, troop carriers, and siege platforms, all set to converge on Earth in one brutal assault. And the date was less than 2 months away. Keen called his commanders. Into the secure chamber. From now on, he said, no move we make will be seen until it is too late. They would not only fight the enemy, they would blind them, choke them, and make them bleed before the first shot of the siege was fired. In the quiet of space, far from the glow of any star, human stealth fleets began to gather. Their hulls were dark, their engines cold. They drifted like shadows, unseen, unheard, waiting for the signal. The galaxy thought Earth was still in the shadows, but in truth, Earth had become the shadow. The siege of Earth. They came at dawn, not the dawn of Earth, but the dawn of Sol itself. The alien armada emerged from hyperspace like a wall of steel, blotting out the light of the stars. Hundreds of warships stretched from horizon to horizon, their hulls bristling with weapons. Behind them, massive troop. Carriers drifted forward, each one carrying enough soldiers to conquer a world. In the command center, Admiral Keen stood before the main display. The room was silent. Except for the steady hum of the battle grid coming online, they think. This is their moment, Keen said. Let's make it ours. Around him, officers relayed commands to fleets hidden across the system. The aliens advanced with confidence. They had studied Earth's known defenses, old orbital platforms, a few fleet carriers, outdated missile batteries. They did not know about the stations hidden in the asteroid belt. They did not know about the mass drivers buried under the lunar surface. They did not know about the weapons hidden inside hollowed-out asteroids. Disguised as drifting rock, the first shots came from orbit. Alien plasma fire tore through the thin shields of decoy defense satellites, vaporizing them in seconds. Invaders moved closer, preparing to breach Earth's upper atmosphere. That was when the trap was sprung. From behind the moon, Earth's hidden orbital cannons powered up. Massive beams of energy lit up the blackness, punching holes straight through enemy cruisers. On the moon's far side, massive railguns launched. Tungsten slugs at near light speed. Every impact was a starburst of fire and shattered metal. The aliens tried to adapt. Frigates moved in to target the moon, but found themselves caught in minefields of autonomous drones. Each drone carried enough explosives to crack a destroyer in half. They struck fast and disappeared before the enemy could lock on. Meanwhile, in Earth's lower orbit, the Titan, a massive human carrier once tagged by the alien beacon, moved into position. Its hangar bays opened, releasing wave after wave of strike craft. The small fighters darted through enemy formations, firing torpedoes into vulnerable engines and reactors. For the first time, the alien advance slowed. But the siege was far from over. From the rear of the alien fleet, siege platforms began deploying their planetary bombardment weapons. Giant plasma lances capable of slicing through continents, powered up with a sickly red glow. On the surface, civilian shelters shook as warning sirens blared. Keen's voice came over every human channel. They will not touch this planet, he said, calm but unyielding. With a single command, human stealth fleets hiding beyond Neptune jumped into the enemy's rear lines. Suddenly, the hunters were surrounded. Explosions lit the dark like a second sunrise. Alien ships found themselves caught between Earth's defensive wall and the ambush fleets striking from behind. The perfect circle of fire closed in on them. And for the first time since entering the Sol system, the alien commanders hesitated. But Keen knew hesitation was not surrender. This was only the first day of the siege, and the war for Earth had only just begun. Turning the tide, the alien siege had stalled. What was meant to be a swift strike had turned into a deadlock. The invaders could not break through Earth's defenses. And now, Admiral Keen was ready to show them that humanity would not only defend, it would strike back. In the shadow of Saturn's rings, the stealth carrier Revenant waited. Its hull shimmered against the starlight, bending light around itself, Inside, Commander Alea Voss studied the target and enemy command station hidden deep within the fleets. Rear lines, destroying it would throw the entire invasion into chaos. The Revenant jumped into position in complete silence. Its fighters launched without engine flares, gliding through space like predators in the dark. They moved between enemy ships undetected until they reached the station's blind spot. The first torpedoes struck before the aliens even knew they were there. In orbit around Jupiter, another human fleet emerged from the planet's magnetic shadow. Their engines had been masked by the radiation storms. Now, they powered forward, cutting into the alien supply lines like a blade through fabric. Fuel tankers exploded. Ammunition freighters vanished in bursts of light. On the moon, long-range artillery switched targets from the siege platforms to the enemy flagship. The railguns fired in rapid succession. 3 slugs pierced the flagships armor, ripping open its command deck. For a moment, the alien fleet wavered. Their formations breaking, Keen seized the moment. "All units advance," he ordered. Human warships surged forward, their weapons blazing. Every battle group had one goal: to push the enemy out of Earth's orbit. The fighting was brutal. Debris fields spun between ships, hiding dangers and opportunities alike. Fighters weaved between wreckage to strike at capital ships. In some places, battles raged at such close range that the glow of plasma fire lit the faces of crews. But the turning point came not from firepower alone. It came from information. Human codebreakers cracked the alien fleet's encrypted battle net. Within minutes, Keen had every enemy movement, every retreat order, every plea for reinforcements. Humans began predicting the aliens' moves before they made them. Ambushes formed in empty space, traps sprung in asteroid fields. The enemy tried to regroup, but every attempt ended with another ship burning. The momentum was shifting, and the aliens knew it. By the end of the second day, the siege platforms were destroyed. The enemy flagship was a drifting ruin, and half of the alien fleet had retreated into deep space. Earth was still scarred, but it was free, at least for now. But Keen did not celebrate. The war was not won, only moved. The next battle would not be fought in Sol. It would be carried into the enemy's own heartlands. And this time, humanity would not wait for the enemy to come. Asterisk, from backwater to battlefield. The smoke of battle had barely faded over Earth. Ships still burned in the cold void, their wreckage drifting like silent graves. But Admiral Keen's gaze was not on the wreckage. It was on the star map glowing before him. Lines traced from Sol to distant enemy systems. The war had begun here, but it would end out there. The order came at dawn. Every human fleet in deep space turned toward alien territory. The galaxy expected Earth to rebuild, to hide, to cling to survival. Instead, humanity was marching into the heart of the enemy. In the dark corridors of the Revenant, Commander Alea Voss briefed her strike teams. Their target a weapons foundry, orbiting the alien capital. If it fell, the enemy would lose their greatest source of war machines. Voss's voice was calm, but her eyes burned with purpose. The jump into enemy space was like diving into the jaws of the beast. Every sensor screamed with warnings. Enemy patrols closed in, but the human fleet moved like a blade through shadow. No speeches, no hesitation, only silent resolve. At the same time, the Titan led a massive assault on the alien shipyards of Drellis Prime. Orbital defenses lit the sky in fire, but for every human ship that fell, 2 more enemy ships went dark. In the chaos, human boarding teams cut through enemy hulls, seizing control from within. Word spread across the galaxy faster than light. The backwater world had not only survived, it was tearing down the strongholds of empires. Neutral species began to watch with uneasy respect. Some whispered about alliances. Others feared retribution. But all of them now knew one thing: Earth could not be ignored. In the enemy council chamber, the warlords met in secrecy. their fleets shattered, their supply lines crippled. They debated surrender, but the thought of bowing to humans tasted like ash. Still, every passing hour brought another human victory. The final blow came when Keen's flagship entered the skies above the alien capital. The humans did not bomb the city. Instead, they sent one single message, broadcast in every language: never mistake silence for weakness. The war ended not with an explosion, but with a signature. The Galactic Treaty was signed aboard the Titan. It recognized Earth as a sovereign power, equal to any empire in the stars, and it bound every faction to respect its borders or face the same fate as those who had not. Years later, historians would call it the rise from backwater to battlefield, but for those who had fought it, it was simply survival, a promise kept to every human who had fallen, that their world would never be laughed at again. Asterisk.